Okay, so for this Sightline video, I'm going to be trying to bake a cake with no recipe and going into it completely blind. So I have no idea how to make a cake. I've never made a cake before. I'm not exactly sure what ingredients need to be put in there, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so here are all the ingredients I've thought of so far. Almond milk, I think it'll work the same as milk in baking. Flour, sugar, baking powder, vanilla extract, and eggs. The nice thing about not being super precise is that I don't have to measure the perfect amount of flour. But I think I'll do somewhere around 2 or 3 cups of flour. I might add more flour depending on if it's not thick enough. But I'm not exactly sure what the batter is supposed to even look like. The oven is preheated to 350 degrees. I think that's the right temperature. I mean, that's usually a classic baking temperature. Okay, so I just put in a cup of sugar with 3 cups of flour. I think that seems like a good ratio. I'm adding 2 eggs just because that seems like a good amount of eggs to have in a cake. Some other ingredients I remembered were canola oil and salt. I'm not completely sure on either of those, but I don't know, it seems like it makes sense to have in a cake. It's probably, I don't know, 3 tablespoons I just put in there, canola oil. I'll probably do a tablespoon of salt. I just put in half a tablespoon of baking powder in there. I think I need to add water to a cake too, so I'll probably do a cup of water. Okay, so it's looking a little thick. I'm gonna add a cup of milk. And I also need to add the vanilla extract. This stuff is really strong, so I don't know. It's a vanilla cake, so maybe a tablespoon probably I put in there. Just spilled cake batter on myself. Rookie move. Here's what it's looking like so far. I think it's a good consistency. I decided to add a little bit of lemon zest as well as lemon juice. So I think it'll give it a little bit more flavor. I'm curious to see how that affected it. Let's give it the first taste test. That actually tastes really good. That tastes a lot like cake batter. I think I got a lot of the right ingredients. Yeah, wow, that's impressive. Obviously we have to wait till it's done baking to get the final result, but man, that's way better than I expected. All right, so I just greased the pan. Now I'm gonna pour the cake batter in here and get ready to put it in the oven. I didn't want to fill it too full just in case it like rises and overflows, but it's about halfway full. Seems like a good amount. All right, the oven's at 350. I'm not sure how long to put it in there for. I guess like 15 minutes to start out with. Okay, so it has been 30 minutes and it's been taking a lot longer than I expected, but here's what it looks like now. It's starting to rise, looking nice and cakey. Yeah, I'll keep it in there till I do like the toothpick test. It's getting pretty puffy. I might have put too much baking soda in there actually, but I'm gonna make some frosting. Okay, so I just made frosting for cookies yesterday in nutrition, so this shouldn't be too much of a stretch for me. Okay, so the frosting is done and the cake is out. It does not look like a regular cake, but I think it'll work. I'm not sure how it's gonna taste or if the texture is gonna be okay or if it's gonna be bad, but yeah, I'll let it sit for a little bit, maybe 5 minutes or so. I just discovered that the cake was really bouncy. Okay, the frosting is a little soupy, but I figured I should just put it on the cake. Here we go. All right, let's see how this looks. Okay, a little moist, but I think it's not terrible. Yeah, definitely a little moist. Maybe it's not very fluffy. All right, let's get my first impressions here. That's not bad at all. Yeah, this is pretty good. Definitely a little dense, but I am very impressed. Wow. Yeah. Look at this. I'm loving the glaze. Man, I am very pleasantly impressed with how this tastes.